Okay, I hope I didn't fuck that up. Hey guys, welcome to the Suicide Hotline. I'm here with Punk Revolution Now, joined along by Scotty. How's it going, guys?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thanks for inviting me. I didn't listen to a single episode of any of your podcasts before, and I really don't know any. I have no clue what I signed up for, but I'm excited. It sounds cool. Suicide Hotline sounds like a badass, very punk podcast.
Very punk podcast, yeah. Speaking of punk, is voting for Joe Biden punk?
Voting for Joe Biden is normal. It's normal. It's not inherently punk, but it also doesn't necessarily make you not punk either. It's just normal.
Oh, and then like voting for Trump would just make you mentally insane.
A fascist.
Yeah, so I would say that voting for Trump, you're not punk. I feel like there probably are some punk people out there that are well-meaning people who just are a little confused that might be voting for Trump, but I'd say I think most people voting for Trump are just really not punk at all. But I don't know. I feel like there's more there's I don't know. I feel like a lot of people tend to just write off people with different political views as you as just like inherently bad people. I like to have a little bit more faith in humanity that if someone has political views I disagree with or even detest, that they're redeemable at some in some form, and we shouldn't just write them off, and we should hope that we can you know get their head back on straight or something like that.
So negative XP isn't really that much of a bad guy then.
Negative XP is actually a straight up just horrible person.
Oh yeah, I agree. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, no, there's definitely a line. Like, I mean, I don't know. I mean, if you want to like get really like philosophical about it, we can talk about where did negative XP go wrong? Is he can he be can he be saved, or is he just diving so deep into the world of just posting edgy shit that he's just too far gone. He needs to be behaviorally euthanized or whatever.
Like some sort of shock therapy.
Yeah. Did you see that article that was going viral on Twitter where a woman she like put her pandemic dog down and everyone was like freaking out about it?
No, but I really want to hear more about it.
I believe I have.
Yeah. So I
Where
mean,
she just bought it at the beginning of the pandemic, right?
yeah.
And then,
I feel like most people didn't read the article because if you read the article, like she kind of goes on and explains that like the dog had like severe anxiety issues and was like biting strangers and stuff, and like it sounds like she tried everything she could, and then like her vet recommended it and she researched it, and like it sounds like she ethically, to her very best tried to save this dog, but in the end the dog was too dangerous and she had to
Mm-hmm.
put the dog down. But like the way the headline was written made it sound like she bought a dog at the beginning of the pandemic, and then once the pandemic was over was too lazy to actually want to take care of it and then euthanized it. Long story short, the dog was euthanized because it had behavioral issues, and maybe we need to do the same to negative XP.
That's a
so
really
you think,
centrist take of you. I'm glad you're staying leveled on both sides.
was there ever a point you think, Punk Revolution Now, that negative XP wasn't as far gone? Do you think there was a point, or even
Well,
under his previous moniker, that he could have been saved?
do I think he could have ever been saved? Do we want to like turn back the clock and to when he was like an infant and
Well,
then
I mean, like, after posting, like, his first album, Under School Shooter, like, do you think once he did that, it was just over?
once he posted his first album under School Shooter? I like to believe that everyone is like redeemable and like they don't necessarily like cross a line, but I mean at the same time, like I guess like the thing with negative XP is I think his music kind of like kind of sucks in my opinion. I think it sucks. I think his music is so bad it's a sign that he seriously lacks intelligence as a human being, because you have to be stupid to make music that is that bad. So maybe he simply doesn't have the intellectual capacity to kind of put the pieces together. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Like, I feel like with the internet also, like, he just has so many like feedback loops of being rewarded for his bad behavior. So many likes on Twitter, so many kids who are going to stream him for, like, he is rewarded constantly for being an asshole. So it might just be the case that like I don't know. It's a problem bigger than negative XP. It's not just negative XP. There's a lot of fucking assholes on the internet right now. So I don't know. This is something I think about a lot though.
So there's like a parasitical relationship here.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely negative XP certainly gives the thumbs up to his fan base to say you can act like this and it's funny and cool, and his fan base certainly rewards him by buying his merch and making him famous. Basically, it's definitely like they're kind of like taking turns like shitting in inside each other's mouths with just this really. Honestly, like I'm 25 years old. I've been on the internet now for over a decade. I've seen this shit is really, for me, it's just straight up boring now. I've seen these like, these trolls that, kind of get pleasure out of, being assholes on the internet. I think it's boring. I like to believe that these kids are going to find it boring at some point too. But negative XP, I think he's just got so many incentives around him now just to continue being an asshole. I don't know. I really don't know if there's any saving him, really.
Would you say that maybe the government has a responsibility in slowing the spread of his propaganda?
I'm going to go with no. I think they do not have a responsibility to do that. I think there's a good debate about it. I guess like, for me right now, I can have my mind changed about this. I'm open-minded about it, but right now I think that I'd rather the internet just be as like open and free of a place as possible with like no censorship, basically. I mean, obviously like child porn and like, planning of violent terrorist attacks. Yeah, I think the government should intervene there, but I don't I think it sucks that there's going to be these like nasty people on the internet who are going to be assholes on the internet. But I think that's something we just should tolerate and, frown upon. But I think once you start getting the government like trying to censor stuff and like try to like, socially engineer people to think one way or the other, I think it can get really messy. And I guess that's, there's definitely a lot of like liberals who would disagree with me and think that, Twitter and Facebook and all these social media sites needs to crack down harder on it. I don't see that as a viable solution. I think I don't know. I don't really know the answer to deprogramming people who are assholes and deprogramming like people with extremist political ideologies. But I think, the government demanding social media have stricter rules, it has its trade-offs, and I would rather look at other solutions like, I don't know, like social movements where it becomes, more stigmatized to act a certain way. It's more shameful. I mean, there's been significant cultural revolutions all around the world, like throughout all of history, where really detestable behaviors have actually finally gone away after existing for hundreds of years. And a lot of the times, it doesn't necessarily involve the government coming in and trying to fix it. I do believe the government can do a lot of great stuff. I just see, in terms of censoring the internet, I'm just skeptical that would work. And I do think it could lead to more problems and even, certainly a political backlash that could even result in more extremism. So I don't really think the government should step in.
Mm-hmm. And on the topic of the government stepping in, should incest be legal?
Should incest be legal? Yes, it should. It should be legal. Not because incest is good or because I like it. I think it's gross as fuck. But like, making something illegal is basically just making like you're taking a shitty situation, which is incest, and then you're making it worse by taking people who have done this horrible act and then like putting them through the legal system in the United States, which once you get caught up in that, if you go to jail, it's going to be harder for you to find a job. You're very likely to end up in jail again after you get out of jail. You took a shitty situation, which was like this incestuous relationship, and now you got this incestuous relationship with people who have, this fucking record on this system that's going to be fucking them over, and that doesn't help anyone, in my opinion.
So, by that logic, you think that drugs should be decriminalized?
I do think drugs should be decriminalized, for sure. I think so. I think, there's obviously, lots of issues with the war on drugs and, hundreds of thousands of nonviolent people going to jail. I feel like the war on drugs is like a little bit overblown. Like, I feel like, the United States is very aggressive with putting people into jail. And eliminating the war on drugs would help, lower the amount of people who are in jail in the United States. There's currently like over 2 million, but the truth is a lot of people are in jail for like, crimes that aren't just drugs, including violent crimes. I think we need to consider, being a little bit less, quick to throw someone in jail for 20 years for pretty much any crime, just because I understand, like, the incentive to want to do that. But basically, overall, I think the entire, legal system needs to be a little bit less, quick to just throw someone in jail, and decriminalizing drugs. I live in New York City with lots of, I went to an expensive school. I have lots of very wealthy friends who are, very well educated and white, and they've done all the drugs you can think of. They've done painkillers and psychedelics and everything you can think of. Like these drugs are here, they're being done, and making it illegal. That's just, it's again, I think it's going to lead to more problems. It's going to lead to people putting fentanyl in the drugs and people dying because they're not knowing what they're taking. It's going to lead to people who maybe are already going down a bad path and then making that path in their life worse by adding a fucking, criminal record. And now it's, it's a cycle that I don't see it as productive. Even if I personally don't like using drugs. I think drugs are bad, honestly, a lot of the time, but I don't think making them illegal is like the smart way to deal with that.
All right, I think all of your haters and people who hate you are done watching now. How are you, man? Like, how are you actually? What gave you the idea of starting this whole Anthony Fantano, I wouldn't say parody thing because it's for sure genuine, but like, what gave you the idea of doing it?
Honestly, it was like, it started like, I don't know, it's been almost 2.5, I don't know, maybe a little over 2 years since I got this channel going. And I remember when I first got the channel going, I sent a text to my band Died. We kind of used it, partially, of course, to talk about music stuff and practice and this and that. But it was also just like, we were all good, friends. And I remember just sending them a text like, wouldn't a really good YouTube channel name be Punk Revolution Now? And they were like, LOL, yeah, that's a good YouTube channel name. So it wasn't something I planned. It's just like I made it right there and then, just because it literally was like, it just came into my head spontaneously, like a bit or like a tweet, just a joke. And then I thought, I should do this. So I did that. And I started making videos, like, basically just for my, like, close, like, friends, But I saw that, like, with some videos, if it was about, like, a relevant topic about music or politics or whatever, there would be strangers who would come and watch it. There are just weirdos out there that will watch videos with no views and no subscribers if it's about a relevant topic. So I started making some videos on some relevant topics, and my channel just started getting more subscribers, and I was like, wow, I got like 50 subscribers now. Holy shit, that's, this was supposed to be a bit, and 50 subscribers is like nothing, but this was literally supposed to be for like 5 people. And
Yeah.
then I made a video like yelling at Anthony Fantano for giving Tyler the Creator's album Igor a 9, which I said was way too high. And that video got like over 1,000 views pretty quickly, and that was really exciting. And then from there, I had like 100, 200 subscribers of people who were really into music related content and humor and all that shit, like, and that was really rewarding. And from there, people commenting and giving me positive feedback on my channel was, it was just a lot. It was just all really a lot of fun. I didn't even plan to start doing music reviews. It was initially just supposed to be like just joking around and fucking around, but then people told me they liked the music reviews, so I kept doing that, and I like doing the music reviews too. So it was very natural, and I feel like to this day I'm still kind of figuring out like what, like, I'm still kind of just going with the flow and doing what I want to do with it. Like I'm not trying to like get like a rigid schedule with it where I do XYZ to get more subscribers, like turn it into like a business or anything like that. It really is just like a channel. Like I want to, let myself kind of have the freedom to do whatever the fuck I want with. So yeah.
Your way of getting like thousands of dislikes and like pissing a bunch of people off is really entertaining.
It's very entertaining. It's very entertaining because if you're someone who follows my channel, like you've seen it happen. It's like, it's just, I guess, like it's very fun to dive headfirst into just chaos, because not only is it funny to see a lot of people get upset on the internet over like something as trivial as their favorite artist releasing an album I don't like, but it's also like it tends to lead to pretty weird and crazy and funny places. Like Kai Winston, for example, he's like an electronic artist. He sampled my negative review of his album in like a DJ mix, and like Miley Cyrus liked a tweet that was replying to my tweet, which I it's just, I think it's fucking nuts. That means Miley Cyrus skimmed and saw a tweet of my review and trashing her. I mean, there's always like weird stuff happening. Anthony Fantano getting pissed off or whatever. Like, it's always fun. I don't really, I kind of just like to poke around, and just kind of see what happens. I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. I'm not trying to be mean or anything. Although obviously, if people do get very emotional about their favorite musicians, it's inevitable that if I dislike their favorite artist, I'm gonna hurt some people's feelings. But really, it's mostly just it's just trying to entertain the fuck out of people, and also get people thinking about music in different ways as well.
Would you like to talk about your debut punk EP, The Fireman?
Sure, for sure. So like I said, I played guitar in this band called Died, and we've released 2 EPs and an album. That's DIED is the name of the band, and that was that's gone really well. We've built up a bit of a listening base, and we've got to tour, which was awesome. But over the pandemic, Died, we kind of just for circumstantial reasons had to slow down a bit. We're still in contact, we're still writing music, but I was just feeling very creatively inspired, and with Died not around, I kind of was like, fuck it, like let's just kind of work on like a solo project EP. So I released on January 1st of 2021, Fireman is the name of the project. It's 2 words, fire, space, man. The name of the EP is Overcoming the Cycle of Sun Collapse, and it's
Link in bio, go check it out.
Link in bio, go check it out. I worked my ass off on it. I love the songs that we put together. I had some friends help me with it. I played all the instruments besides the drums. My friend Kiyoshi played the drums. And he was super talented, but I definitely had a lot of help from friends, and it was just, I'm really happy with the EP, how the EP came out, and I'm definitely working on more Fireman music. I'm working on another Fireman album. Who knows when that'll probably be out in 2022. Honestly, it's kind of a big project, but yeah, I mean, I guess like I'm really into noise rock and post-hardcore and punk, and this project was just like a lot of fun for me to kind of to explore those influences.
What would you say are your biggest influences?
So my biggest influences would probably be so I'm very inspired. I guess my favorite bands would be Sonic Youth and Unwound. When I was in high school, I was really into no wave, which is the noise rock scene from like the late 70s and early 80s in New York City. Actually, honestly, I was so inspired by the no wave scene. I was partially even one of the reasons why I wanted to move to New York was because I knew New York had like its roots in like very experimental and noisy punk rock, which I just thought was a lot of fun and very creative, and I liked how it was a little edgy. So I guess like I was just very into, when I was in high school, I was just into very pretentious music. But in college, as I started playing with Died, we were super into post-hardcore and post-rock, like Slint and everything, and I started really exploring those genres. And I like I said, Sonic Youth, I think, is a band that is just so fantastic because they kind of scratch the itch of everything I like. They have their early stuff, which is very no wave influenced. Like their album Confusion is Sex, which I actually have that album cover tattooed on my arm. But throughout their whole album, I wouldn't say any of their stuff really dives into post-hardcore per se, but they definitely explore a lot of very cool, very intricate noise rock that honestly, the guitar work in these compositions get pretty damn complex and very, very well thought out, and it's extremely unique the way they approach noise rock. And I think just the size of their discography and all the ways they explore indie rock and noise rock in different ways, I think is just super fucking cool. And like I also mentioned Unwound, and Unwound, needless to say, is like one of the best rock bands ever. They're just fucking amazing.
A lot to take in.
Yeah. I'm glad you're not so much in character as you were in the start. That would have been a tedious 15 minutes.
Yeah, I agree. Well, let me tell you something. Let me just clarify something real quick. I'm in character right now. The person you see in my YouTube videos, that's who I really am. What you're listening to right now is me on character. This is me putting my mask on. To fit in with what society wants me to be, so you fucking assholes can tolerate me in a podcast. But if I be my real self, you're like, oh well, thank goodness you're not being your real self, or else that would have been a tedious 15 minutes. That's what you just said to me.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Who did you vote for in the 2020 election?
I voted for Joe. At first I voted for Bernie Sanders in the primary, and then I voted for Joe Biden. I think that was the right decision. Like, there's lots of leftists who, said to not vote, don't feed the system, don't legitimize the system by voting. Both the candidates are bad. And, I think I understand that mindset. But for me, it just took 15 minutes out of my day to just fill this damn voter ballot and send it in. I don't think that I'm contributing to, like, capitalism continuing to destroy society just because I voted for Joe Biden. I think everyone needs to chill the fuck out, and just understand that lots of people, including myself, just really, really detested Donald Trump and we just prefer Joe Biden over Trump, and it's simple as that.
Yeah, you have a tweet from May 23rd. Hi, at Joe Biden, let me know if you need any help. Is there context to that tweet?
Yeah, I feel like one of the goals of the punk revolution is to get Joe Biden to say punk revolution now. I think the chances of that happening are virtually zero, but I think it's a good goal, and I think if we can make it happen, it would probably be the best thing to ever happen in my life. So I'm just hoping through these tweets I can get a connection with him or something, so we can finally get him to say punk revolution now.
Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez, didn't she play Among Us with like some big YouTuber? You can probably get a friend of the big YouTuber, like piss them off or something, then somehow like gain the social ladder get to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, suck her dick, and then boom, Joe Biden.
I'm so down to do that. By the way, like, so I guess I just want to ask these questions now because I just want. So what is this pod? Are you two like negative XP fans, incels? Like, what is this? Like, what podcast am I on right now?
You are on the suicide hotline, my friend.
Yes,
We're like a music kind of podcast. We have everyone that we can, basically. Pretty much music oriented.
This is
I
a
got
worldwide program. We talk to people from different communities. You know, we don't
Yeah.
necessarily pertain to one.
that's good.
We just want to have differing opinions, differing voices. You know.
Exactly.
I feel
yeah.
that. I feel that. Like, obviously, you know, you know, go to battle with the negative XP incel community pretty often. But the truth is, you know, a lot of them are subscribers who follow my channel and, you know, leave, you know, nice comments when I post a review they like. And I don't know, like, I like to believe that, like I said, you know, maybe they're good people. And you know, I just know a lot of these people are fucking, you know, 16 years. They're 16 years old on the internet, just having fun, you know. And I guess like I said, like I'm not opposed to, you know, communicating with incels and, you know, building relationships with them as long as that, you know, the record is set straight that I don't, you know, don't like the whole incel culture thing. But I you know, I feel like you know, I feel like right now there's kind of this like kind of like this cultural thing going on right now. Maybe it's because of the internet, who knows what. Maybe it's just you know, some human psychology with like tribalism or something where like you're just expected to not associate at all whatsoever with people who you know, with people who you know, think differently than you, and, you know, like I said, have like detestable even political views. But you know, there's good reason, you know, studies on this. There's good reason to believe that if you want someone who has a political view or any sort of perspective on something that you would like to change, you don't want to, you know, run away from them. You want to expose them to your ideas. You know, like, for example, you know, if someone's homophobic, you know, I think that's awful. But if you want them to become less homophobic, you want that person to be exposed to communities with gay people in it, so their brain can finally learn not to be, you know, so angry and bitter at gay people, and learn you know, that the homophobic stuff is very irrational. And, you know, but, you know, I'm not asking, you know, every gay person to reach out to a homophobe. You know, I think that's, you know, that's a lot to ask of gay people. But the point I'm trying to make is, like, I think we need to focus a little bit more on, like, reaching out to each other and, like, trying to, like, build communities with, like, people you really don't like. And I think if we do that, like, the things you don't like about people might actually start to, like, dissolve, rather. And if you do the opposite, which is to isolate yourself from people you don't like, I think that the things you don't like about those people are just, they might get worse, actually.
I mean, I'm not sure if this applies to homophobes, but, like, a lot of racist people are simply racist because they've had bad experiences in the past with those groups.
Yeah, that's actually another great example. You know, there's actually been studies on this too, about people who grow up in, like, urban settings, for example, you know, surrounded by more black people. They're just exposed to more black people on a daily basis. And then there's you know, been psychological studies that show people who grew up in these environments where they're exposed more often to people of different races are less likely to be racist. And, you know, it's you know, I've kind of moved around my whole life. I've met and have had lots of friends of people who are white and conservative and just grew up in the middle of nowhere where it's just pretty much all fucking white people, and then there's, like, one black person. And, you know, like, that's an environment where, like, you know, it's exactly right. Like, this person who isn't exposed to people of different races every day. They might see a post on Twitter or 4chan or whatever, and that's the only content, that's the only exposure they get of this person from this background, and then that's gonna fuck with their brain really badly, and they're gonna have they're very susceptible to having some really fucked up views.
Yeah, we've had 2 black people on so far, so we're pretty inclusive.
Good. That's great. I think that's good. I hope, I pray you have some fucking racist listeners who sat in on those episodes, and now because you invited black people onto your podcast, they're less racist.
Me too. Racism?
Yeah.
That's cringe.
Yeah,
good,
it's cringe.
good. Thank God. I honestly was a little nervous, like, hopping on this podcast, not knowing anything, just seeing the edgy name suicide. I was a little nervous you guys were gonna start like dropping some like racist bullshit on me or whatever, like some serious hardcore alt-right whatever. But like, I'm not getting that impression, thank God. And then like, seeing tomorrow waking up, Punk Revolution Now is on the Suicide Hotline podcast, and no one listens to it. They're just seeing it was a racist podcast, and then it just goes viral. Like, why Punk Revolution Now is on a racist podcast, and no one, and then my whole fucking life comes to an end.
I mean, we could very well be that podcast. How would you know?
Yeah, you're right. You could be. I could. Maybe you guys don't. Maybe I'm totally wrong here. Maybe I gotta look through your podcast. I didn't do this. This is. I could scroll down and see like the previous episode. Like, today we sit down with this neo-Nazi to discuss why the white race is being replaced. Blah blah blah. Like I could have walked right into a trap here, but I don't know. I'm busy. I'm too busy to do any research, and every fucking podcast invitation I get, and if it happens to be full of scummy people, like I said, like I'd like to believe hopefully my presence can make them a little less scummy, but maybe that's maybe that's naive, but I like to think that way.
I'm glad you think that way. It's good to be a good person.
To have this positive mindset.
If you think badly of someone because of their opinions, you gotta realize that they have a reason to think what they think, even if they're influenced by propaganda or by hateful ideas. They still have a reason to believe what they think, regardless of that reason. Like,
yeah, it's kind of become a bit of a radical idea, and it's interesting because this is actually an idea that of very far-reaching empathy. It's like having it's like you're having empathy for someone you view as a bad person. That's a pretty challenging thing to do. But it's actually, it's funny because I've always understood that to be a very fundamentally leftist idea, or maybe you don't even have to think of it as leftist. I've always understood that just to be as a valuable idea. I mean, if that's a good thing, but it does seem nowadays that all across it doesn't matter if you're leftist or far right or liberal, centrist, whatever, it's just become everyone is the bad guy besides me, and if you dare associate with the bad guys, then you're a bad guy too, kind of thing. And I don't want to be reaching out and saying, oh man, hey, this fucking, school shooter, hey, let's have some empathy for him. No, I'm not trying to say every single person deserves, unconditional, an absurd amount of unconditional love. Obviously we should be very critical of people with detestable views. I'm thinking strictly from a very practical, very goal-oriented mindset of the goal we should have is to minimize the amount of people out there who have shitty, horrible points of views, perspectives, beliefs, hateful beliefs. We should minimize the amount of hatred. And I think from a very practical mindset, the way to do that is to actually engage with these awful people rather than to avoid them and let them get isolated and just shit inside each other's mouths. Everyone in Discord just basically having a contest with each other who can say the edgiest shit and rewarding each other with little stars or whatever the fuck people do on Discord.
I mean, even school shooters, you gotta be really, really mentally fucked up to do that sort of thing. it's
Absolutely
better that you want to be for them before they do something like that, or even after they're about to go to jail. Just still like have some empathy for people, even if they're shitty people.
Yeah, for sure. There's definitely an aspect of that. I do also have kind of a skeptical, sort of more skeptical perspective that honestly, maybe some people are just really fucked up from the day that they're born. Who knows why? There are psychopaths out there that are just born without the capacity to have any empathy for others whatsoever. That's gonna happen, unfortunately. But I think those are the exceptions. I think for the most part, like if you in the right environment with the right resources, someone who could go down a path where they do something horrible otherwise wouldn't. And I'm not trying to say like if someone does something horrible, like does like a school shooting or terrorist or attack or whatever, that it's the community's fault for not reaching out to him and helping him first. Like obviously, the person who did something horrible definitely deserves the vast majority of the blame. But I do like to think that if we put the effort into it, we can at least minimize the amount of horrible people there are out there.
So you have a review, Carly Rae Jepsen dedicated album review, where you seem to be sitting naked in your bathroom. Is that review part of your big plan to like help everyone unify and to spread love? Like, is everything you do kind of
spread love?
Yeah. Even like the shit like sitting naked in your bathroom.
I guess so. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. There's a lot of videos I upload where I just literally have no fucking clue what I'm doing. I'm just literally going like chaos mode. Like, okay, this is something that I feel if I upload to YouTube will like result in some chaos. So let's go ahead and upload it. I mean, I do like to believe that, beneath all the chaos, I'm kind of uniting people from all sorts of different backgrounds and building a community. And for sure, there is definitely an extent that there's a community being built around Punk Revolution now, like on my Discord and YouTube and stuff. But I also don't want to give myself that much credit. I'm not going to say I'm fucking, ending fascism by uploading videos of me in the bathroom naked.
Punk Revolution now, is there any context behind the image of you and Anthony Fantano?
Yes, there is. There is actually a good story behind that. So basically we matched on Tinder and he came over and we had sex.
Oh. Well, that sure is interesting. I'm glad the audience now knows that.
That's why he looks very scared in the image. Frightened by your presence.
Actually, I just remembered that was a different time. The time in the photo was he was doing like this tour. He was doing like this tour where he was traveling to a bunch of different colleges, giving a discussion about like the state of indie music. But it really was kind of just more like a comedy, like an hour and a half comedy show where like he was like, I don't know, like reading the lyrics of like Rockstar by Smash Mouth and just doing a bunch of like Anthony Fantano type bits with like everyone in the audience just the fucking nerdiest fucking music nerds ever, like literally exactly what you'd expect an Anthony Fantano audience. But he visited my college. I went to NYU. He visited NYU and I went and saw it and it was really goofy. And then after that he was letting people come over and say hi to him, and I came up to him, and so I have a friend who he grew up in Connecticut, and Anthony Fantano also is from Connecticut, and my friend, he told me that he would see Anthony Fantano working at a pizza shop. Anthony Fantano, before he was a professional music critic, worked at a pizza shop in Connecticut. Let me actually find the name of it real quick. I can find it if you just give me a second.
Are we allowed to say where he used to work?
I'm telling you right now, Anthony Fantano used to work at a pizza restaurant in Connecticut called
Okay.
IS. He used to work there. I went up to Anthony Fantano after his presentation. I said, "How's he's going?" and he gets really nervous. Like, how the fuck does this guy know about I ask him how's Connecticut, how's Rosini's, and he's like stuttering, and he can't really give me a very good answer. He's just he looks pissed off. He looks like pissed off that like I'm like his stalker who like found out this private information. And then I got a picture with him.
That after you told him that information? Jesus. I'm looking at the picture right now.
He was a big guy. You know, I don't, you know, I'm not like, you know, there's nothing, I'm not body shaming. There's nothing wrong with being big. But Anthony Fantano, you know, I don't know if he's, you know, maybe lost weight or anything now. But I remember just being really shocked with like how big, he's a really big guy.
A master of disguise. You never really noticed that in his videos.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, well, actually, you know, I don't know. I don't want to talk about his body. That's kind of messed up. But he's big.
You were just surprised by his appearance.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with being big. I got a lot of big friends, big boys I love so much. But Anthony Fantano, he's one of the big boys that I don't like so much.
Is it because he blocked you, or is there something deeper?
Let's go over it. He said I was whack. He said, "Do you do crack?" He called me a disingenuous cunt, and he blocked me on Twitter.
Didn't he also call you a bitch?
I don't know if he called me a bitch, but he called me a cunt, which is like similar to bitch, but a little bit worse. So, but he might have called me a bitch. I wouldn't be if he called me a bitch. It wouldn't surprise me one bit. But like, point is he should know better. He should know better than to call me those words. What have I ever done to him?
He's just threatened.
I think he's just mad that you're gaining more traction.
You know, you can do the math. You know, you see the 3.75 thousand subscribers. It looks small compared to 2 million, but you know it grows exponentially. And if you take a look at my growth rate is much faster than his. So you know, just give it a few years, and I will absolutely pass him in subscriber count.
Plus, you made it on the suicide hotline.
Plus, I made it on the suicide hotline. I mean, Anthony Fantano made it on the suicide hotline as well, but that was, you know, him calling the actual suicide hotline after he saw that I fucking destroyed his ass with my Fantano is a fraud song.
Touche. Do you see any respect in people actually listening to music reviews and getting their opinion from someone else telling you what to think from an album?
So, I used to do that when I was younger. You know, I started listening to music when I was 15 years old. I didn't know shit. You know, I was still learning. And, you know, there's just so many albums out there spanning so many decades, going back to the, you know, I mean, you can go all the way back and find some awesome albums even back to in the 40s. And I'm sure if you dig hard enough, you can find even older albums. Point is, there's just a ton of music out there. So, of course, when you're getting started, you're going to want, you know, some sources to help you find new music. Anthony Fantano, pitchfork.com, rateyourmusic.com. You know, lots of kids are using these, Last FM, and like, you know, I don't blame you if you're using these sources, but you know, I now that I'm older and you know have listened, now that I'm able to form my own opinions because I like know a shit ton about music, it's like it's like looking at the process that, you know, it's just like the amount of power Anthony Fantano has over our culture in terms of like the world of music is just absurdly large. And, you know, obviously, you know, if he's got all these subscribers, he must be doing something right. But I think we deserve better than Anthony Fantano. And at this point, I honestly find like sometimes I find like even like Pitchfork reviews to even be more authentic than a lot of Anthony Fantano reviews at this point. And you know, like, I'm not trying to be an asshole. You know, I'm sure Anthony Fantano has a lot of pressure because his income is literally dependent on gaining as many subscribers as possible, and it's not an easy job to do all this shit. But the bottom line is like, I still think that the music community deserves better than Anthony Fantano. And Anthony Fantano, he's past his prime now. He used to really be a good reflection of like indie music, but now he's definitely just dove straight, you know, headfirst into just poptimism and just, you know, reviewing pop, because that's just what gets him the most amount of, subscribers and clicks and stuff. And it's just like, at this point, like in my opinion, he's pretty much worthless to the music community almost.
I mean, I know nothing about music. I'm pretty dumb when it comes to that. But like, I don't need someone else to tell me what album is good or not. I just sort of listen to it.
Yeah,
I mean, except
absolutely.
Punk Revolution now is the only one that can form my music opinions.
Perfect. That's perfect. And I actually really encourage people to listen to and enjoy albums that have bad reviews, because there's a lot of really awesome albums out there that like have like mediocre reviews from critics, and there's a lot of albums out there that artists have poured their heart and soul into that have gotten mediocre reviews, but like these are still like fantastic works of art. I have thought about doing some reviews of some albums that like, didn't do so well critically, but I think deserve more love. But yeah, so I mean, I think it's way cooler to like an album that like is critically panned than it is to like an album that all the critics happen to say is great. Like I definitely encourage you to go against the grain and do your best to think for yourself, really.
I think at this point, people like Anthony Fantano are just a reflection of what the industry wants more than actual opinions at this point.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Anthony Fantano has gotten really into the world of like doing interviews and like networking with all sorts of artists. Like he's very deep into the world of like, I mean, you can say networking, you can call it social climbing, whatever you want to call it. The point is like he's very invested in like people who are very powerful in the music industry, like, I don't fucking know, like Drake or something, or Cardi B. Like, there was a point where like Anthony Fantano would not give a fuck what those people thought about him. But I think Anthony Fantano now is at the point where he actually wants like Billie Eilish and all these, Olivia Rodrigo. I think he wants to be on their good side. Like he actually wants to like network with them and like climb the social ladder by appealing to them, which is, back when Anthony Fantano started just sounds ridiculous, but now it's like very clearly like he knows in the back of his head, if he can get like a shout out from like one of these huge pop stars or interview with him, that could really help him out a lot. So he's doing his best to stay friendly with them and reflect what they want to hear.
Punk Revolution now is like the counterculture of Anthony Fantano.
Yeah, I mean, I will say, like, I do feel like even with my small channel, I do feel pressure to, like, give good reviews or say nice things about this artist or that artist, or, just, like, try my best to, just get my name out there more, and that could include by, reviewing, like, some certain artists or whatever. But I feel like I have a lot more fun kind of like doing the opposite of like what I should do. Like I like thinking from like a subscriber's perspective, like it would be just so great if I don't know, gave like a really, in-depth and well thought out and positive review of like, I don't fucking know, like the new 21 Pilots review or whatever. Like, if I can give like a real honest, well thought out and positive review of that album, like that would probably appeal to a lot of people. But like I think it's a lot more fun to like, do the, I didn't review that album, but I think it's a lot more fun to like to do the opposite of what is logical from like a subscriber count perspective sometimes. And then I think it actually works out a lot of the time too, because it kind of makes my channel a little bit more unique sometimes.
It's way more entertaining when you give everything a 0. I think now is a good time to segue into one of our segments, where basically every guest we have on gets asked a question from our last guest, and then you ask a question for our next guest, and so on. There's like continuously between each episode. I know, pretty cool show. So our last guest wanted to ask you, why do you do what you do?
Why do I do what I do? I do what I do because, one, I love music, and this is a lot of fun for me. I love the music community too. I really do. I tend to be someone who's very like misanthropic and don't like just negative. But the music community is actually one that I think is pretty fucking awesome. I love the community. I love punk music. I love punk. I both love punk in terms of like the punk subculture, and also I love punk as in the music. And I would love to encourage you know that to kind of grow a little bit more, and because I also just I just want to have a punk revolution now.
I very much support that. Do you have a question that you want to ask our next guest?
Yeah, sure. Do you know who the next guest is, or is it just like I ask it and then
It's just like,
It's a surprise.
okay, cool.
yeah.
All right, so my question is, would you rather fart the biggest fart in the world and go to jail and get shot in the head and die in prison? Or would you rather Anthony Fantano's YouTube channel gets deleted?
1 second, I need to write that down. Fantano.
It's a very hard question for some.
Shadow gets deleted. Beautiful. I think that was our most unique question yet for some reason. You said you like punk music. Do you like listen to any pop? If so, what is your favorite pop song?
Well, I guess I do listen to some pop. I don't listen to the pop that's on the radio, but like, looking like objectively at the albums I listen to, just when I want to enjoy myself, I'm not opposed to throwing on like, Cocktail Twins, Heaven of Las Vegas, for example. I think that's a nice album, and I guess that technically falls under like pop. I do enjoy, like Brazilian pop music. They've got lots of awesome, there's a whole, Brazilian pop genre. I think it's called MPB. It's that's technically pop music, but it's it's a little bit more complex. They bring some like jazz chords and like more progressive rock elements into it, but it's melodic and poppy. I think that's great, and I'm also not opposed to like throwing on like maybe like some like Madonna or something like that. Like I think Madonna has like some pretty interesting albums in her discography that are like just she's got some weird she's got obviously her very popular songs, but she also has some like weirder shit. And I always appreciate kind of like digging through that just to kind of get the cultural references and just kind of see like just to learn more about like just the world of music in general.
Yeah, you're talking about like pop songs that aren't playing on the radio and everyone's sick of. Do you have any pop songs that you specifically hear on the radio yet don't dislike? It's really important that you answer this. You'll see why in a second.
Okay, are there any pop songs I hear on the radio that I don't dislike?
Yeah.
Well,
Like
I guess
those-
I can totally I can enjoy like the new Lil Nas X song, "Call Me by Your Name." I think that's it's a funny. I like that it's a little provocative. I like the music video, and I can enjoy that. I can tolerate that at the very least.
Is that the one where he has sex with the devil?
Yeah.
Oh god. Yeah, I'm asking because we have a segment where every guest we have on, we do a cover of a popular song with them. I play the guitar and Scotty and you sing along to it.
Oh, that's gonna be a fucking hard one to do. Let me pick a different song then.
Yeah. I was expecting you to pick like Justin Bieber or something.
All right, let's do Justin Bieber's song, "Boyfriend." His song "Boyfriend," because I know that one pretty well.
All right, let me find it and listen to it.
I like to believe it might be a little easier. It's like a rap. It's like a whisper rap.
Do you know how to rap?
I am a very good rapper. I should release a rap album.
I mean, you did a diss track on Negative XP.
Yeah, that's true.
Boyfriends. Let me see if you can play this Boyfriend on guitar. Yeah, you can. Scotty, do you know this song?
No, I'm listening to it right now.
Yeah, I'm listening to it too.
Better learn it. Swag on you.
Oh yeah, I recognize this.
So this is the pinnacle of pop.
Yeah. We got the lyrics swaggy. We got I could be your Buzz Lightyear, fly across the globe. We got swag on you, chilling by the fire while we eating fondue.
Let me just practice for a bit. If I was your boyfriend, I'd never let you go.
You gotta play it faster. You gotta play it like twice as fast. It's like, if I was your boyfriend, I'd never let you go. I can take you places you ain't never been before. Baby, take a chance, I'll never ever know. I got money in hands that I'll really like to blow.
Alright, let me try again. If I was your boyfriend, yeah, I'd never let you go. I can take you places that you ain't never seen before. Baby, I'll take a chance and you'll never... Yeah, I can...
There you go.
Yeah.
Pretty good, man. That sounds great.
Thank you.
We're gonna. This is a fucking hard song. We're gonna fuck it up, but let's do it. I was like, oh, that song's too hard. Let's do an easier one. And I pick a song that's like equally as hard, and like in a worse song too. Justin Bieber.
Your diss track was pretty fire, so I don't think you can mess this up.
All right.
We're about to hear the skills of the modern day Vanilla Ice.
That's true.
Good luck. This is gonna sound lit. And a 3, 2, 1.
This is gonna be so fucked up. Oh shit. Was your boyfriend, I never let you go. I can take you places you ain't never been before. Baby, take a chance or you'll never ever know. I got money in my hands that I'd really like to blow. Swag on you. Chilling by the fire while we eating fondue. I don't know about me, but I know about you. So say hello to falsetto in 3, 2. I'd like to be everything you want.
Hey girl, let me talk to you.
If I was your boyfriend,
Never let you go. Keep you on my arm, girl, you'd never be alone. I can be a gentleman, anything you want.
If I was your boyfriend,
I'd
never let you go. I'd never let you go. What you want, what you tell me what you don't. I could be your Buzz Lightyear, fly around the globe. I don't ever wanna fly, yeah, I don't already know.
I'm gonna make you shine bright like you're laying a snowbird.
Girlfriend, you could be my girlfriend. You could be my girlfriend until the world ends. Making you dance to the spin in the twirl, and it's going crazy on this hook like swaggy. I'd like to be everything you want. Yeah, Justin. Hey girl, let me talk to you.
If I was your boyfriend, never let you go. Keep you on my arm, girl, you'd never be alone.
Can be a gentleman, anything you want.
If I was your boyfriend, I'd never let you go. Let you go. Give me a chance, 'cause you're all I need, girl. Spend a week with your boy, call you my girlfriend. Who's your man?
If I was your man,
I just want to love you and treat you right.
I'd never let you go.
Keep you on my arm, girl, you'd never be alone. I can be a gentleman, anything you want.
If I was your boyfriend, I'd never let you go. I'd never let you go. Na 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 na, na yeah girl. Na na na, na na. Hey, was your boyfriend? Na na na, na na na, na 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 na. Hey, if I was your boyfriend. Nice.
Fucking amazing.
I must say, I gotta say, my respect for Justin Bieber has skyrocketed after he wrote the song Yummy. That song is just about eating pussy. And he just released it and like topped the charts. That's fucking boss.
swagger, as some may say.
That's swag as fuck.
Swaggy. Swag.
I prefer class over swag, but you know what? I can respect swag too.
So would you say this would probably be the best piece of media you've ever created?
I'd say it's probably my most. It's. I gotta say it's miraculous that you got me to do this. This is something that like as Punk Revolution now I should have just never done, and then I just did it, and now people are gonna always be able to find me singing this song and be like, Punk Revolution now is a fraud. Listen to him know all the words to Justin Bieber's Boyfriend, the cringiest, worst pop song on the planet, and listen to him hit the falsetto. This kid is a fucking fraud.
It's funny because you suggested the song too.
I walked right into it. I'm a dumbass. I set myself up.
You should have done your research.
I should have been like, yeah, let's fucking sing fucking Soundgarden or something. You know what I mean?
Black Hole Sun.
I could have said Black Hole Sun, but I said Justin Bieber's Boyfriend.
In my opinion, it's better.
I guess so. You gotta, do some fucked up stuff in your life once in a while.
We're gonna try to get Anthony Fantano to review our full album when we're done with all our guests. We'll let you know how it goes.
Sounds good. Remember, everyone, he worked at
I think for legal reasons, I'm gonna have to cut out the specific name.
I'm gonna make a video titled Anthony Fantano worked at Pizza like a bitch.
Oh my god.
I'm gonna start just straight up like Anthony Fantano's social security number is this. Like just get the info and let it out to the world and just let the chaos go and eventually end up in jail.
What's your zip code, by the way, and phone number?
My zip code is 11211.
And your phone number?
I'm not giving my phone number. I live in Brooklyn, so it's a very big like zip code. I'm cool with people knowing that I live in Brooklyn. So 11211, that's Brooklyn. I'm cool with that. I'm even cool with telling people that I live kind of in the Williamsburg area. Come by. If you're in Brooklyn, if you're in the Williamsburg area, hit me up on Discord or email me, and we can come hang. I'm always down to hang with people. I have an apartment all to myself, so you can come over. We can smoke some junk and play some video games. Always.
Come by, follow him home.
Have you ever encountered a fan?
Have I ever encountered a fan? Kinda, yeah. I have. Someone did reach out to me on Discord. And we did meet up one. Actually, it's actually happened a couple of times. People have reached out to me, and I've met up with them. I'm always down to hang with fans, and yeah, it's. I actually one time I matched with a girl on Tinder, and I said hi to her. I thought she was good looking and everything, and she responded to me. The first thing she said back was "Punk Revolution now," and she was actually someone who watches me. So that's some clout.
Fuck yeah.
That's some clout right there.
Oh my. That must have been the point in time where you realized you could actually do something with Punk Revolution now.
That's, yeah, man. That was the plan from the beginning. I was like, I'm going to make these videos, and hopefully eventually it's going to help me, have sex.
Having a normal girl recognize you, that must be big.
Yeah, it was cool. I swiped right on her and everything, you know what I mean? They're thinking about all the Punk Revolution Now fans that I swiped left on. Probably most of them, I have a feeling.
Everyone on Twitter and everyone on Tinder is just a Punk Revolution fan. Yeah. Before we end it off, we have one last segment. We kind of like segments.
Okay.
We have a thing where we, how do I word this right? Do you have any confessions or things that you might want to get off your chest?
Yeah, I think I do. So, one time in middle school, I took a shit on the floor of an elementary school bathroom.
Why?
He likes chaos, that's why.
Because it was chaos.
Why?
And you
thought it'd be a funny troll.
I accidentally stepped on it while walking out of the bathroom, so I ended up getting shit kind of just straight up everywhere. And
oh my God.
A friend of mine ended up getting in trouble for it, but he was a good friend and he did not snitch. And so no one ended up getting in trouble, even though like some school officials, grilled my friend like, who did it? Who shit on the floor? I didn't get in trouble. I never got caught for it. And I think, it's been like over a decade now. I think I'm past the statute of limitations there, and so I've told nobody about that. So I'm so glad I got, obviously some friends were there. It was a good goof for my buddies, but now it's, now I can get it off my chest on the suicide hotline.
Would you do it again?
Would I do it again? Nah, I wouldn't. I think there's a lot of good pranks you can pull that don't involve getting shit everywhere. There's plenty of things you can do. I think shit and piss, it's not cool. It's, some poor janitor had to clean that up. But, you can, I don't know, draw a dick on the mirror or something. There's still plenty of funny things you can. I encourage goofs and pranks, but maybe not involving shit.
You've truly changed as a person.
I know.
In those years.
Man, I guess, I'm Punk Revolution now. Maybe I gotta do some more poop stuff. Maybe I gotta poop on the stage while I'm performing or something like Gigi Allen. But
I feel like you should, yeah. That would really...
It's like flinging your shit.
I mean, media would report on you. You would get more people, cause more chaos.
It would be cool. I've thought about it. The only issue is, like, it's... I don't want to, like... Some asshole would report me to the police and then I'd be, a registered sex offender for spreading my asshole on stage or some bullshit like that. Like,
party poopers.
The fucking party poopers, like, this is what I was saying, going back to, I'm like a very, just being honest, like a very left-wing guy. I think there's a lot of, things the government can do to, help people in need, whether it's healthcare or, whatever, providing, food stamps, whatever. But I think in terms of just letting people fuck around, you know what I mean? Like letting people poop around, I think the government needs to back off and just let people have some fun. So those, I guess, that's kind of where I fall on the political spectrum, the bottom left, as some people say, of the four quadrants.
The poop area of the political spectrum.
The shit area, the cringe shit square. That's where I fall.
Well, I'm glad everyone knows your political opinions when it has to do with shit.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming on the show, man.
Yeah.
You were a very nice guest.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun. Feel free to hit me up whenever. Like I said, if you're in Brooklyn or whatever, like, you can reach out. Same with anyone listening. Like, I'm always down to hang, get a drink or whatever. Or if you're underage, which you probably are, because I feel like I'm way too fucking old. Like, all my fans are like 15, and I'm like the 25-year-old creep inviting them to my apartment. But just come hang.
Nothing shady going on.
Nothing shady going on. I'm going to introduce you to ketamine and we're going to have fun.
Is ketamine legal there? Can you get arrested for saying that?
It's not legal. I don't think I could get arrested for saying that, though, because it was a good joke.
It was a joke. We do not endorse ketamine.
We don't endorse ketamine.
Drugs are bad.
Yeah.
Stay in school.
All right. Thanks for coming on.
Absolutely.
Stay in school. Don't shit on your floors.
Yeah, don't do drugs unless you're with me. And I'm doing it safely with you because I'm a responsible friend.
Responsible adult.
Responsible adult, yeah. All right, folks. This was fun. Goodbye.
Oh, wait. I forgot.
Okay.
Do you want to say the outro?
The what?
The outro. Do you want to say our outro?
What is the outro?
Just make one up on the fly. This entire thing is winged. Nothing is planned.
Okay. Oh, sick. Okay. So the outro is this. Instead of if you're gonna call the suicide hotline, you're obviously in a place where you need to get your ass on YouTube, go to Punk Revolution now, subscribe to my channel, binge watch. It's gonna help you feel better. You're also gonna follow me on Twitter. It's gonna help you feel better, and that is the cure to depression. So, and also I guess subscribe to this podcast too, because they were kind enough to invite me on. So yeah.
You nailed it. That's our outro every single time.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
just gotta sell yourself, man.
Sell your soul.
Sell your soul to the system.